Hi everybody, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. It's another skateboarding video. I've got my new Sennheiser MKE 2 microphone picking up all the sound. I want to talk to you guys today about something that I learned, this crazy phenomenon that I've been privy to as a jazz musician for a super long time now. I didn't learn about this little phenomenon until I was at school at my college studying music. The place that I witnessed it first in my life was a Friday at 3 o'clock, and I'll tell you how I remember that. It's because every single Friday at 3 o'clock, you go into E251. It was the room where we had the jazz master class. So all week long, the combos, all of the jazz groups, they practice super hard, and then everybody's got a Friday that they sign up for. And the first Friday always goes to the best jazz combo at my school, which was Hard Bop 1. Ooh, it was the TA combo. There was no touching Hard Bop 1. That was it. So Hard Bop 1 always, first Friday. I'm sitting there. This is like the first time in my life really where I get to see other people reacting to jazz. So for the first time, I'm seeing people who are seeing the jazz, and I'm seeing how they react to it. And it's not just any people. These are the smartest jazz people I know. These are students at a university studying jazz. So, it's not only the students that are there. Professors are there too. So we're talking like even the head of the jazz department's there watching Hard Bop 1 on this day. So the thing that starts to happen as Hard Bop 1 starts to play, so everybody just sits there. It's like they're the calmest people in the world, like nothing can faze them. But as like the best player, his name was Mike. Oh my gosh, he could play that tenor saxophone. And as he started to get into his solo, like a couple choruses, I noticed something happening on the face of the head of the jazz department who was sitting right in front of me. And it's kind of crazy because like as Mike started to kind of go into the stratosphere a little bit, maybe play something like Ray, that was the head of the jazz department, Ray. He started to shake his head a little bit. I thought, oh Mike, you played something wrong. Because Ray Smith did like this. Take off my glasses and show you better. It was like, and he kept shaking it more and more. As Mike started getting more like wild with his solo, Ray, not only did his shaking increase, but his mouth started to frown more and more and more, and his chin started to like this, and I realized that Ray wasn't upset with the fact that Mike had a wild solo. I think he liked it. But say you turned off the music and say you just had somebody passing by or looking in the window of that room and they could see him. I mean, what they would have thought was that maybe he's listening to somebody talk, and he's like at first he's like, no, I don't agree with that. And then he's like, no. And ultimately he's like, it's like he's saying, you would better take that crap that it's coming out of your mouth and get out of my classroom. Like that's what he looked like. But that was Ray's stank face. That was it. I really couldn't focus on anything else that day. That's about all I saw. Mike was playing out into the stratosphere and Ray was enjoying it. Everybody's got their own kind of stank face, and I realized this as I went through school and as I joined some different bands, and I realized that it wasn't just the people who were watching the jazz and reacting to the jazz that make the face. It could be the musicians themselves. I used to play with a guitar player, And he would have this surprised look on his face when he started to play something that was what he thought was really interesting. And it kind of goes like this. It's like, he also got the frown, right? But his eyes were full of wonder. He was continually like, oh, did I just do? Watch, something else is coming. Oh, what's it gonna be next? That's what it was like. So crazy things started happening, and that the more I started hanging out with that guy, the more I started doing exactly that. I'd take my piano solo, and I started surprising myself. Ooh. And I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I was totally copying his stank face. It's not the first time it happened to me. It happened to me with so many cats that I played with. And I look back on it, I can tell you about every person I ever played with. I can copy their stank face because I saw them do it so many times. It's kind of hilarious, and I think that I've just about seen every kind of stank face that there is on the planet. I think that every stank face that is out there should have a name, and I give them names. So Ray's face, head of the jazz department, Ray, I call his face the I disagree face. I mean, you could also call it the no you didn't face, but I disagree. So, that one. And I call my friend who surprised himself on the guitar, his is, could I be more surprising? No. Oh yeah, I could. And then how about this? I used to play with a guy named Jeff. He plays the bass. And Jeff, he would go into power mode somewhere during the song. It would just be power mode, and all of a sudden he did this one. And to me, that one is like the dad in the minivan who's got to get the boys to the soccer game on time, and they're gonna be late, and the team isn't gonna have enough players, and they're gonna have to forfeit the game. That's what that face is like to me. That face is like, hold on boys, we're getting to this game on time. Right, nothing was gonna stop Jeff when he went into that power mode. It's the dad in the minivan. One of my other favorite faces is from, well, I've seen it in lots of places, but most recently, one of my favorite guitar players, Paul Piper. He makes this face. Dude, Paul, you gotta listen to Paul. It's Paul's track that you hear right now. But Paul's face, he gets involved in what's going on in his world, and dude, he doesn't understand it, I don't understand it, and I call it, we're going to outer space, kids. That's what this face is, because it's like this. It's like his eyes are crossed, they're rolled back in his head, and he's praying to some god, like some crazy mythical creature that he's just gonna be able to take us, all to nirvana. Sorry, Paul. The other one, and this one's epic, happens on the Snarky Puppy video of Lingus. It's when Corey Henry really gets into his solo. I call this one, I can't handle this, and neither can any of the rest of you. It gets more and more hilarious and crazy, and ultimately he has to get up and leave the bandstand because no. Either it's so hilarious he can't handle it, and neither can any of you. it's just fine. It's okay. We can all make whatever kind of crazy faces we want. You know, we learned it from our heroes. And I know I've gone through many phases of stank face. Oh, the one it's classic. I think we just call it stank face that everybody makes is like this, and it just looks like this. It's like something stinks in here, like somebody forgot to put on deodorant. But it's not a bad thing. That's about a good thing. If somebody looks at you like they think you need to put on more deodorant while you're playing your instrument, highest compliment in the world. I think when it's early in your career, like when you're a student and you start to see people make these faces, you kind of like, you want to laugh because it's hilarious, but at some point you realize that nobody else is laughing and you don't want to look stupid. So you suck it up, you don't laugh, and then, you know, within a matter of a week, you've joined them. You're making all the faces too. What? Good question. Do I aspire to have a certain kind of stank face or playing face? Yes, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. I do aspire to that. My favorite person who goes out of control and makes a face is John Coltrane. And he's not out of control. It seems to us like he might be at any moment. But John Coltrane, all he does just closes his eyes and plays his instrument. Now, I won't say that that's true all the time. Sometimes we can see him really getting into it. But for the most part, John Coltrane could enter the stratosphere and never change his expression. That's what I aspire to. I don't know that I'll ever get there, but to me, you're bad if you can take off into the outer realms of the modes and the scales and the chords and the stratosphere, and your expression is like, I do this every day, bro. This is nothing. So yeah, that's what I wish for myself. Someday I'll be like high as a kite on all the music, but you won't even know it because my face won't. I'll just be cool, like super cool. You know, sometimes it's not as often, but sometimes when people hear the music that they really like, they get happy. Almost like if you're watching fireworks on the 4th of July. I mean, you don't really hear people going, ooh, ah, ooh. That, I think people save those sounds for fireworks and for some other passionate experiences in their life. But sometimes you do see people just light up at what their bandmates are able to accomplish. Those are some of my favorite moments, when you just see, they just can't contain how happy the playing makes them, and that's a beautiful thing to me. So go ahead, make all the faces, make people think that they stink, and that's what it's all about, is just enjoying what you're doing. Whatever face you make, enjoy the crap out of it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.